Yesterday, we had some interesting headlines, all involving a backwards hat and a San Francisco 49ers quarterback. As you guys know, and I'm sure you've probably have heard, Colin Cowherd has called Brock Purdy a not franchise quarterback. I don't even know if that's how you say it, but I don't care. Calls him. He says he's not a franchise quarterback because he wears his hat backwards, right? And we've talked about this. We've reacted about this. The take is ridiculous. All that different types of stuff. Well, that question actually made it to Brock Purdy, and as a result, we got a response from Brock on the backwards hat and all that different type of stuff, which has now caused this volleying back and forth, which means we now have a response from Colin Cowherd. So let's take a listen to the way Colin Cowherd is feeling about this situation, and let's react to it on the other side. Take a listen right here.
I think you're representing the organization well right now, standing up there at the podium, wearing a backwards hat.
I guess that's who I am, and I think so. Yeah, some guys have told me in the locker room and stuff, but I don't buy into all that kind of stuff, so I'm just trying to play quarterback and win games.
I'm glad the San Francisco media, though, is addressing this fundamental concern about the franchise, so I respect the journalism being tendered in San Francisco. They realize the seriousness of this moment. So that's real journalism in San Francisco. They addressed it and pointed right at him and demanded an answer. It's the Wednesday presser. I've said it over and over. It's the Wednesday press conference with the bank sponsor. You're speaking. It's the one time a week you're speaking to. It's all over ESPN, Fox. It's the one clip we all use.
Oh, this is some hard-hitting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I cannot believe we are still talking about backwards hat gate. The things that get legs in today's world is fantastic. But as we know, this is what we do here. We react to things revolving the San Francisco 49ers. And so let's react to Colin Cowherd reacting to Brock Purdy, reacting to Colin Cowherd. Ooh, let's see if we can get more volleys back and forth. But in all seriousness, it's a whole lot about nothing. I thought Brock Purdy did a phenomenal job of answering the question. He said nothing, which is exactly how a franchise quarterback needs to handle those situations, because let's face it, that is going to happen. People are going to try to put you on the spot, whether joking or not, and they're going to try to get a clip, a soundbite, something out of you, and it's up to you to determine how you handle that, and he handled it like a pro. He's always been a pro at the podium. That's why the whole notion of Colin Cowherd's take is, again, it's a troll, it's a clickbait, it's a fake outrage, all those different types of things. And hey, it works. It gets people going, right? I heard a lot of people chime in on it, a lot of comments on it. And again, we hear from Colin, and you could see how happy he is on his face that question made it to Brock Purdy, that it could be yet another segment on his show, and that Brock Purdy had an answer for the backwards hat thing. He's loving every second of it. So it is what it is. It's honestly, at the end of the day, it's just a whole lot of nothing. This is kind of an interesting time, because the whole sports media landscape is changing dramatically. It's been changing dramatically, and it continues to change. Whether it's social media, whether it's the rise of independent content creators, whether it's, it's beat reporters that are content creators now. I don't know if you've noticed, but all the beat reporters are effectively content creators now, by how they go about sharing the things that they're reporting on. It's the same thing as content creation. So the whole landscape is changing. Obviously it's driven by print media, written media, things like that, blogs, websites, newspapers. But at the end of the day, everything is moving towards audiovisual. And that's where everything will be in 5 years from now. Um, there obviously will still be websites and blogs and things like that, but that's not where Gen Z is going to get their news. That's not where Gen Z is going to get their information. They're going to places like YouTube, Instagram. They're going to TikTok, all those different places. That's where they're going. And obviously, we're seeing a dramatic shift in that. And as a result, these kinds of things happen, right? A couple years ago, I really doubt that anything would have blew up to the magnitude. If we said like 5, 6 years ago when I first started doing this, Colin Cowherd saying something about Brock Purdy wearing a backwards hat doesn't move the needle. It doesn't, because Reels didn't exist, TikTok didn't exist, um, videos being shared on Twitter or X didn't even really wasn't a thing. That it happened, but it's not to the relevance of it is now. So again, this whole situation to me is just indicative of the change in the landscape. Um, because if someone says something, it's almost there's no way to get away from hearing it because of all the different social media channels, whether it's reporters, whether it's content creators, whether it's fans who go viral. It doesn't matter. There are so many different levels of how people get access to certain bits of information, that those things that never would have been brought to a player previously are going to. And obviously that's why I think, when I look at, and kind of my understanding of, I'm not a journalist, but I observe journalists and those types of things. And I think the integrity that they bring to the table is to try to ask legitimate, non-baity type questions, right? They're trying to get the information at its core. You know, we're seeing more entertainment stuff weaved in, and I think that's just going to be the land. That's just how it's going to be, and it's going to keep moving that way. But I do think it's an interesting time. As we continue to, who knows? This went from a simple reaction to the state of media. The point being is things are changing. It's going to be a consistent evolution. And if you think it's changed already, it's not. It's just beginning. It's just starting. And it's going to be interesting to see how certain people, certain entities kind of maneuver this new landscape, where questions that maybe wouldn't have been asked in the past will be asked now, by journalists. So we'll see. What did you guys think of this whole situation? Let me know in the chat, all that good stuff. You guys already know what to do. Smash that like button. And as always, like and subscribe for more updates.